Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing incredibly well. It's the 20th of March, 2025. It's 11 a.m. Central European time, and we are going to talk about the Fed fallout today. What has happened? What are we going to see with the markets? Are we going to go to $150,000 by Saturday, or are we going to come back and retest $80,000? I'm going to give you my opinion. Remember, it's only my opinion. I don't have a crystal ball. We've got a lot to talk about today, as well as talking about Bitcoin. We've got some massive news from XRP. We've got some news about Solana, some new products going live today. We're going to look at 3 picks now that we have seen what the Fed are going to talk about. We are also going to talk about TON, and we're going to talk about AI crime. And again, scaremongering seems to be the order of the day these days, especially in Europe. So we're going to have a little look at that. Before we do, the gang seems to be back in chat, which is great to see. We've got Kishan, we have Mags, we have Velvet Rope, we have Hidden Agendas, we have KKB, we have Bullish Bull, we have everybody back in chat today. So it's amazing when the market finally turns back positive. It's amazing how uplifted a lot of people feel. Now, you know me. I am not one to get overly excited or overly depressed, and I am going to try and be the voice of reason today. We're only at $86,000. Yes, we've had a little bit of a move up, some positive news, but let's just say this. I think we're seeing the silver lining. We're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that is massively important, but we have a long way to go yet. I do think another year before, not another year, another month before we really start to see what's going on. But we are going to cover all of that off as well. So remember, if you are new here, smash the like button and subscribe. We are one subscriber away from 6,400 on YouTube. And believe you me, on YouTube these days, for those of you watching on Binance, YouTube, it's like pulling teeth. The experiment I ran at the weekend was to see if there was a problem with our channel or whether it was a problem in crypto in general. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, our crypto videos get 50 to 100, 150 views. Good one, maybe 200 views. I made a video about Gary Stevenson, got 2,500 views. So clearly, I either become a character assassination channel or we just stick to crypto and try and get through it. But it was a good experiment to see how we're going to go. Anyway, let's go back into the show. Let's have a look at the markets. What are we doing? Volume back above 100 billion. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see 60, 70 billion dollars in volume. That's for peasants. We are royalty. We are crypto royalty. Yes, you are still early. Yes, you've still got time to accumulate your Bitcoin. Don't be worried about that. Market cap is up nice and healthy. There is Bitcoin coming in just below $86,000. Again, when I show you the chart, I don't want you to be depressed. I don't want you to be super happy. I just want you to know where we are. Ethereum, again, clinging on to $2,000. Let's hope it stays there. It's probably going to fall down beneath that. XRP, I told you, $2.50. $2.50 is the magic number for XRP. Below that at this moment in time, and it's a good price to buy. Had you bought yesterday at $2.24, you'd have already made 10%. Okay? $2.50 seems to be the support point for XRP. Again, we want it to go over $3. Of course we do. But it's $2.50. That's the number that you need to remember for XRP. BNB, 600 for me is the number to remember with BNB. So that's had a good recovery. Solana's come back up from 126. That's now sitting at 133. There's some news we're going to cover about that. And Cardano is still below its magic number, which is 80 cents. That needs to move. And the news of Tron moving to Solana has caused zero impact on the price of Tron. Justin Sun came out, did a little shuffle, did a little dance, said we're going to move some of our tokens over to Solana. The market hasn't reacted. Why? Because I don't necessarily think it's the right move. I don't see what value it adds to Tron holders. I think when we see the news about the Tron gasless stablecoin, that's when the price will kick on. Chainlink is coming in under $15. I think that's an absolute steal. I think bull run prediction for Chainlink for me was $80 to $100. Nothing so far is going to change my mind. If we get a pump tomorrow or next week, next month, we're going to be back at $25. And then it's not outside the realm of possibility to go towards $75 to $80. So again, when the bull run happens at its end, at its blow off top, that's when you need to sell. And that only happens for 8 weeks. So when I talk about an $80 to $100 chain link, I'm talking about for a very short period of time. I'm not talking about going into next year. It's a very short bell curve that goes up, comes straight back down again. TON is coming in 13th position. We don't need to look at any more of them. Let's have a look at what's gained and what's lost. XRP, we're going to cover that. Uniswap, they've been talking about changing how their fees work. Bonk is on a bit of a run. PancakeSwap is up. Sui is up. Sui is probably not a bad price, $247. The people that were calling for $20 Sui, I think they were outspoken, thankfully. I am not a massive fan of a $5 Sui at this point in the market. I am a fan of a $4 Sui because that, I think, is its natural level for now. Going on then to the losers. Really not a lot down there. Mantra, small retracement. Again, with Mantra, I think $5 or $6 is a good price to pick that up at. But I'm not sure it's going to go massively higher in this bull run. It's already almost $7. It's already $6.7 billion in market cap. I don't know how much further it's going to go because remember, this time last year it was at 60 cents, 80 cents. I made the video last year at this time, I think, maybe a little bit later, maybe in the summer. It was at 80. I remember telling people anything under 90 cents for Mantra is a good price to buy. So how much more of a bull run is it going to have? Maybe it's already had the bull run. Anyway, let's move on. We have a couple of X files. Not too many to go through. Good morning to everybody. Good morning, Tariq. AGS, good morning. Is Dot dying? I can't stand Dot. I wish it would. Okay? Not a fan of Gavin. Don't like Dot. Don't cover them on the channel. Don't report on them. I think he is a despicable piece of work. That's my opinion. And I'm not going to talk about him. And I hope it dies. Blockworks. Real Donald Trump will be addressing the crowd at Blockworks DAS tomorrow. Now, I just want to very quickly talk about this before we get into the show, because there is something of a problem, a good and a bad problem that we have with Donald Trump. Number one, we have Donald Trump as the president of America. Number two, he is volatile. Number three, he's reactionary. Number four, he has a plan. Number five, his plan is a big ideas. It's not a minutia plan. When you see those types of headlines, Donald Trump talking at a conference, he's not going to be there. He's going to do it via, I believe he's going to do a wire in. I think they called it a wire in. I mean, they're living in the 1970s. He's going to go and probably do a Zoom call into the conference. Now, what we want to get from this conference is, what is the big idea? Okay? This is why it's so difficult to predict the markets. This is why you are going to watch people tell you we're going to $100,000 on Saturday, or we're going to $74,000. We don't know, because we now have an active president, okay? We had a president that was on pause for the last 3 years, at least the last 3 years. And we don't know who ran the country over there, but now we have an active president that's trying his hardest in his own way to do what he thinks is right for America. Today could be incredibly bullish for crypto. And that's why it's impossible to predict where we're going to go. I'm going to show you some targets, of course, but it makes it very difficult to try and forecast. And I know what KB is going to say. Show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. That's what KB will say, and that's what every trader will say. But I cannot see how you can predict Mr. Trump. That's the problem that we've got. So he's going to talk today at 10:40 Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what time that is. It's at 3:40 p.m. Central European Time, something like that. Don't expect facts, expect ideas, okay? Do not expect him to come out and say, we're going to buy 350 Bitcoin a day for the next 1,000 days. He will come out and say, we're going to buy Bitcoin and it's going to be huge, okay? That's what you expect. But remember this, whatever people tell you about him, he's put people in charge of his departments that he trusts. Cynthia Lummis is the key. She is the queen of crypto. Listen to what she has to say. She offers direction. Forget Sachs, forget Elon Musk, forget Charles. Cynthia Lummis is in charge of the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. So he will come out, give it the big I am, Johnny Big Bollocks, as we say in the UK, and then she will come out and provide the facts. Now, this was the big one today. The QT dropped 80%. Quantitative tightening was 25 billion. It's now 5 billion. Okay? So, although we haven't seen quantitative easing, which is, of course, what we really want, we are seeing a slowdown in QT. And that, for me, was the big takeaway of yesterday. Chairman Powell, he wasn't dovish. He wasn't really hawkish. He was a bit of a mixed bag, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to say he didn't know what to say, but he wasn't as assured as he normally is. Now then, just a few quick other ones before we move on. Stock pickers market, you just picked the wrong ones. Now, there is a lot of merit in buying funds. In my former life, I had stocks, and then I moved into funds because funds sit really well within categories. Now, what you don't get with funds is you don't get the blow-off top peaks, but you also don't get the massive corrections. If one company performs badly out of 20, it doesn't bring it down massively. This is very similar to crypto. This is why I'm showing it you. If you bought every single cryptocurrency between the top one and the number 50, if you bought every single one of them, by November, and this is what a lot of people maybe new to crypto don't understand, if you put $100 into Chainlink today, you might end up with $400 in November. If you put $100 into XRP today, you might end up with $250. And if you put $100 into BNB, you might end up with $150 by the end of the bull run. Not everything that you buy is going to go up to all-time highs. It's not all going to go up to where you want it to go to. That's why you need a portfolio. That's why you need to have all of your assets diversified in the coins that you think are going to do well, because you're going to be wrong. A case in point for me personally is Polygon. That was 6%, 5% of our $15,000 to $1 million portfolio, which I haven't brought up in ages, which I'm going to show you later on. Maybe I'll show it tomorrow. So Polygon just hasn't performed for me, even though everything on paper tells you that Polygon should be a massive roaring success. It hasn't caught the attention. It's not got the eyes. At the other end of the scale, XRP has now done and outperformed everything else in my portfolio, including Bitcoin. So that's why I got a portfolio. I saw somebody today who had 99.7% of his portfolio in one coin. And that coin was an exchange coin. It was a utility coin. And that is absolute stupidity. Okay? The only coin, in my opinion, you can get away with only 100% off over the long term is Bitcoin. And I truly believe that. Yes, you can be 100% in Solana and 100% in Ethereum, but there's so many risks associated with both of those chains. Bitcoin is your only hope. Okay? Now, I don't look like Princess Leia. I certainly don't have her figure, but Bitcoin is your only hope. If you're going to hold for 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, you have to buy Bitcoin. Now, by all means, have 60% of your wealth in Bitcoin and then go and buy 40% in your exchange coin. Fine. Don't have it all in exchange coin, because that exchange gets hacked, as we saw with Bybit. That exchange changes CEO. It has an IPO. It changes direction. It dilutes the number of coins. Everything you've got being locked up in one coin is going to lead you to be a very sad human being, because if it goes south, you are going to suffer badly. Now then, one last thing before we move on. A little bit of light after all my negativity. 99% of your property is in BTC. I think that is a brilliant strategy. I am 60, 62, 63% in Bitcoin, and I have been for the last, I don't even know, was it 2016? 2017, 8 years. 8 years I've been stacking Bitcoin. Right, Meow is excited to see everyone at Solana Crossroads next month as official partner, sponsor and partner. Mew will have a booth at the event. Make sure to stop by. So again, I bring this up because they are a partner of our channel, as is Maple Finance, as is WolfSwap. But unlike a lot of meme coins, they go out and press the flesh. They meet people. They give away soft plushy toys. They promote their community in Asia, in Europe, in America. They are not one of these fly-by-night meme coins such as Melania or such as Trump, okay? If you're in Turkey on April the 25th or 26th, go to Crossroads and go and meet the guys at Mew. Why not? Go and get yourself a swag bag from Mew because they are great people. They are great guys. Right then, let's move on. I plan to hold only Bitcoin, BNB, and Velo Labs. Hi, Stephanie. Welcome back. I don't think that's a bad shout. I think BNB is a really solid choice. Okay, and I'm not just saying that because we're on Binance and we're on we stream over there. I'm saying that because it's like an elephant. You want to move an elephant and you run into it and you push it, it might move an inch. Okay. Or if there's a landslide, it might move an inch in the other direction. It doesn't move. It's a great big whale of a coin, and it's tied to value. And that value is not just BNB. It's the burn mechanism. It's the hodler airdrops. It's the stake and forget. It's the launch pools. It's the mega drops. All of those things add value. You can just hold. I don't think I've said this many times. You can just hold BNB and not check your wallet for 2 or 3 weeks and go back, and you'll have 2 or 3 random airdrops. I got Bubble Maps the other day, a Bubble Maps airdrop. What did I do with it? I told you yesterday. Sold it yesterday and converted it into BNB. I do that with the majority of these types of coins. The ones I don't see any value in. The only real ones I've kept, I suppose, have been, I think I kept the Ton. I think there was a Ton drop at some point. I've kept that. I sold Not, and I told you to sell it. There was a few other coins. I've told you to sell them for BNB. And had you done that, over time, you would have made more gains from the BNB than holding these crap coins. Right, this is the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, I'm going to give you a ray of light. Very similar to Madonna. And I will say this, I probably do have a better figure than Madonna these days because she is 95% polystyrene. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. We've had a bounce. Now, maybe I drew this line in the wrong place, okay? Maybe we need to go back over here and look at this. Maybe I drew the wrong bounce, okay? But I drew the bounce, and the bounce happened. So we're back up into this range. We do have a lot of work to do, okay, to get back above some of these lines, okay? We're going to mainly look at Bitcoin in a minute, and that's the most important one. But we're not out of the woods, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's recency bias. I'm going to keep drilling home the same points every week to people, okay? Recency bias is when you... What is this chart? The money stock. Why is it just bringing up the wrong charts for me today? The Oracle. You're listing out there, Oracle. You have broken everything for me, okay? You've broken everything for me. We're not look at this chart. We're gonna move on to a minute, right? Recency bias is where we're at 106,000 and we fall to 80,000 and you think the world is over. It's finished. It's a scam. I'm out of crypto. Okay. Then we go to 86,000. We're so back. We've made it. We're going to buy our Lambos. We're still $20,000 below our all-time high. Okay. We now look more likely to go up than down. That's the case. That's the camp I am in. So it's great that the economy is in this situation. It's great that we've seen this because remember, Bitcoin has been swimming against the flow. Bitcoin has been going against QT. It's been going against the dollar. It's been going against Biden. It's been going against everything. And the only massive thing it's had in its favor is institutional adoption and, of course, the ETFs. But it's been swimming against the tide. And now that tide is starting to turn. And what do you think is going to happen to Bitcoin? The one big thing that I am not a fan of at the minute, I'll go back onto camera now. Just want to tell you something, okay? I am really not a fan of what Michael Saylor is doing right now. Michael Saylor has gone for, why am I lagging so much? Let me just do one thing for a second. I'm going to close the browser down and open it up again in a minute. Is that better? There we go. Michael Saylor has started to post price predictions for Bitcoin. He said yesterday, in the same 2 or 3 hour period, this will be your last chance to get Bitcoin below $100,000. Okay? Because I know something, is what he said. He also said that $440,000 for Bitcoin is not a million miles away. Now, either it's a trust me bro, which just makes him no better than Murad, no better than Ansem, okay? Except he's got more of it. Or he actually does know something and Trump is going to announce something that we don't know about. But I am not a fan, and I can't say what it's really called, because it's called S-posting. And I'm not a fan of it from people like Saylor. Saylor should focus on the value that Bitcoin adds. Why am I lagging so much? That's really bad lag. Okay, maybe it's the page. So we'll get on with this. I don't know why we're lagging. Maybe it's this page. Fed pauses rate hikes, cuts Treasury redemption cap as tariff effects loom. Again, one of the things that Powell is scared of is the tariffs are going to push inflation up. That's what he believes. I do not believe that to be the case, because these are not global tariffs. These are tariffs on certain products. Now, tariffs do, yes, put inflation up, because the things that you buy are more expensive because there's an American tax on them. But I don't believe that going after certain sectors of the Canadian economy or the Mexican economy to try and balance it out, I don't believe long term that's going to push inflation up. Short term, possibly. But Trump and his team are negotiating with Canada, negotiating with Mexico, and I don't believe that this is a problem. Now, the one downside to Powell believing that there are tariffs is he won't cut rates. I do think with the arrival of the tariff inflation, further progress may be delayed. So basically, this is Powell having a go at Trump. Trump had a go at Powell, saying that we need to cut rates to get the economy going. So they're both passively aggressively talking to each other through the media. All 4 major equity indices leaped in response to his remarks, while Bitcoin, we went above 85,000, we're now 86-ish. So again, the takeaway is there's 0 rate cut, which we said yesterday there would be, and the market was likely to wick up and wick down. We've had the wick up. Are we going to have the wick down? That is probably not going to happen if we see Trump today, in 5 hours' time, come out and say that Bitcoin is the future and we're not going to attack. Now, the one thing that could happen today is he just ruins my charts with his whatever. Right. The one thing that could really move the market today is if Trump comes out and says at this conference, we are going to bring in and introduce a 0 rate tax on all capital gains on cryptos in America. If he says that today, then we have this area to look at. This is the breakout, and that is coming in at probably, let's call it $90,000, which is quite a coincidence because $90,000 happens to be one of those key levels which we've seen. We've got to get above $90,000. That's if Trump comes out and says that. If he comes out and says, we're still going to go with our Bitcoin strategic reserve, you bros are the best, back me, Team America, blah, 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 then we are not likely to move. But as you can see, we are in this range. Okay, we're in this range. So the next move for me, if nothing happens, is back down here. Okay, and that would be coming in at I mean, the bottom of that range there currently is 73,000. And I'm not saying that we're going to go to 73,000 today, but we're not out of the woods. We've got to break this little magical line that I've made up here, which is at $90,000. That's where we've got to break. Okay, break the downtrend, come up, so do some kind of retest somewhere along the lines and go up. So it's nearly impossible for me to predict what is going to come out of Trump's mouth, because I don't believe he knows what's going to come out of his mouth himself. I think he's got a general idea of what he's going to do, but I can't say. So because of that, it's impossible. And I'm sure if you go watch a different channel, if we go watch a different channel, one of these younger, less wrinkly individuals, they're going to tell you that we are going to go up here, or if you're going to go some of the sad ones, we're going to go down here. Okay. I don't think anything that we like to see happen ever happens. So when we're expected to go down, we go up. Whenever we expect to go up, we go down. It's very simple. So I think we're stuck in this range. And again, I think I said yesterday, I think March was too soon. I think April we're going to be in a better position to see rate cuts. We see rate cuts in April, so about there. I mean, what we could do is probably just chop, get to April, rate cuts happen, and then we move up. Because remember, I've still got all-time highs on my card for April. And it sounds crazy, I know, but stranger things have happened. So I think we don't need to worry if we go down to 80,000, and we don't need to worry if we go to 90,000. The market conditions are not in place for all-time highs just yet. But when we go to QE, and when we see interest rates being cut, that will be to me the stimulus for us to move on up. Right then, let's move on. Yeah, 92.7 is the next fib level, I think, on my chart, above 90. But I don't know if we're going to get above 90. I think we're going to struggle. Right then, Ripple CEO downplays the IPO plans after Ripple SEC case ends. XRP surges. Again, I've seen a lot of negative people talking about this man here. If your crypto project has a CEO, it's not decentralized. We know that. XRP is probably the most centralized crypto project in the top, 30, 40, 50? Absolutely, of course it is. But it's not your problem. Your problem is making money. That's what you're here to do. You're here to make money. I don't care what we talk about on this channel. If you make money by the end of this year, I don't care if you've invested in pigskins. I don't care if you degened into egg prices. I don't give a monkeys as long as you make money. Can you make money out of XRP? I think you can. Maybe not a 10x from here, maybe another 100, 150%, right? But it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is how much influence this man has over Donald Trump. That's my worry. Because when we saw the crypto summit, the one person who wasn't there was Charles Hoskinson. And I said at the time, I said before, as long as Charles is involved, we're going to get a crypto head in the party, in the group, in the team. He's not there. So who is Trump listening to? He's listening to Brad Garlinghouse, probably Chris Marszalek, probably the Winklevoss brothers, Michael Saylor. Now, Michael Saylor, again, you could argue is on the side of Bitcoin only, which is fine. But again, where is the Robin Hood? Where is the hero in that group? There isn't. It's men in suits. So you now know the men in suits are in charge. The men in suits are in charge. These are the men in suits. So you can't bet against the men in suits because they have the ear of the president. Is there going to be an IPO for Ripple? Absolutely there is. The way I see this playing is we've got 4 years to get crypto really going. And the IPO element of this is key because I think we're going to see Ripple IPO. I think we're probably going to see a Kraken IPO. I think we're going to see a Crypto.com IPO. I think we're going to get those IPOs in America within the next 3 years. Before the next election, they will have IPO'd. Basically, that's their payday. That's the money that comes in. I think Ripple are going to IPO. Absolutely. Is the XRP token a commodity? Absolutely not. I don't believe it's a commodity. That's like me having a room full of little knitted gloves that I've made myself, that I sell a few of, and then I turn around and say, well, I've got all these gloves, but I'm going to sell a few knitted gloves for some kittens and things. But it's not really a security, even though I've made them all myself. It's a commodity, of course, isn't it a commodity? It's not a commodity. I don't know how it's ever been classified as a commodity. So even though we like Trump, he's pro-crypto, he's as bent as the last guy. They're two wings of the same bird at the end of the day. But you have to understand that. And if you don't and you get uppity about it, then that's on you. You've just got to let this happen. You can't change this. So Ripple's going to IPO. The token and the court case has been closed. We're seeing it at $2.50. We're likely to see the price move up with everything else, but it could decouple. Again, it could decouple. If there's talks of an IPO, then of course that's going to lead to a price appreciation. Of course he's going to say it's not a priority. Why would he say it's a priority? But they are going to IPO. And what's likely to happen is they will make sure they've got all the licenses they need to do whatever it is they want to do. I'm sure XRP is going to try and become a bank and a clearinghouse and all of those things. It's going to have its own stable coin. We know, we've talked about it before. So XRP are probably going to line up all of their own ducks, and then they're going to IPO. And they're probably going to IPO for an awful lot of money. And Brad and his team, they're all going to make an awful lot of money out of this. And all you need to do is hold a few XRP, because that's going to go up in value, especially as it's going to be part of the American stockpile. You can't back against them. You can't back against them, unfortunately. He looks a little bit like David Williams. He certainly does. And David Williams is making a comeback. And, you know, I'm not a massive fan of David Williams. I'll give him that. But also, I'm more of anti-cancellation. I don't believe anybody should be cancelled as long as they're not doing something absolutely naughty. Right, this is XRP. It's had its run up. It's in a nice little pattern here. Again, 50 cents it was back at the end of last year. This is the performing coin of the year. Of course, it's going to perform. We've said it time and time again. XRP had court cases against it. Risk managers wouldn't touch this with a barge pole. It's now finished. So what does XRP need to do? It needs to break that all-time high there, which is coming in at $3.40. Is that likely to happen in the near future? Probably not. We need to get above, or we need to start getting back towards this line, which is coming in, what's that, 276. Again, it's a good coin to hold. These people telling you that it's going to go to $10,000 need a slap. It's never going to happen. Absolute junk. I don't care what multiverse you live in, it's not going to $10,000. I don't even think it's going to hit $10. I think $7 would be fantastic. That is a 3x in this bull run. 3x. 3 times the value. And people want the moon. You don't want the moon. You want a solid return. It's going to give you a solid return. Now then, this is, we talked about the process for getting ETFs for Solana and XRP. What is that process? Futures. Solana futures and XRP futures, I believe, also both went live. We've now got futures ETFs coming. March the 20th today. Do not expect this to move the price of Solana massively. Vince is written a very nice article about this. It allows investors to speculate on price movements without holding the underlying asset and are a way to hedge against risk. This was the problem with Bitcoin futures. Bitcoin futures was all about paper trading, basically. It never moved the price of Bitcoin because you didn't have to hold the Bitcoin to do that. That's why spot ETFs, they are the important ones. So the likes of BlackRock and ARK and everybody else have to go and physically buy the Bitcoin. That drives the demand and the price. Futures do not require you to go and buy any Solana. So it's not massively going to move the price. But according to the experts, Eric Balchunas and people like him, you have a procedure that you go through to get a spot ETF. And one of them is you need futures. And here we go, we've got the futures. Let's just put that to one side. I think you need 6 months. So if this goes live today, 6 months from now is September 20th. That is when we will get a spot Solana ETF. Unless, and this is the thing I keep caveating everything with, unless Donald Trump turns around and says, I do not care about this 6 month delay. Rubbish. Get it done by June. And if he says that as the President of America and the SEC, who are now a Republican-led group, then it'll get done. Is it the right thing? Probably. Should you break with tradition? Probably not. He's done enough breaking of tradition so far, and he's only been there a month or two, something like that. So we're going to see these launch. It's not going to have any massive effect. The futures are going to go live. If anything, it does add a little bit of volatility. When the Bitcoin futures went live, it was at the peak of Bitcoin's price, and people attribute the crash of Bitcoin to the Bitcoin futures, even though it was part and parcel of the Bitcoin cycle. I don't think that was the massive reason, but there you go. So the launch of Bitcoin ETFs in 2024 is widely believed to have siloed institutional capital away from the rest of crypto. Not necessarily, because institutions won't be touching Solana and XRP. In my opinion, they will want to do it through an ETF, and I don't believe it's siloed anything away. If anything, it's turned institutions onto crypto rather than against it, because it adds validation. Again, validation is key to everything. Validation is being recognized by the people that you want to be recognized by. That's the key. You all see BlackRock on TV now. You all see Cathie Wood is always on TV. Michael Saylor's always on TV, in America anyway, telling you the virtues of Bitcoin. They weren't doing that 3 years ago because we didn't have the ETFs. We didn't have the men in suits. We didn't have Brad sitting next to Donald Trump. That's the key, okay? Now, my nickname for Brad, by the way, is Wormtongue, because I do genuinely believe that Donald Trump is going to end up listening to him, and that would be terrible. Ignore Kip, Brecky, because these are bot comments, by the way. So don't go and try that. You're a legend. I started at the pandemic. Yeah, that was, I think a lot of people started about then. What is up with Auction Coin? I've never heard of it, Kabir. If you send it me on Telegram, I'll go and have a look at it for you. What else is there? I've made 2K off Merry Token, said Mr. Allen. A lot of people made a lot of money off Merry Token. Merry Token is a project on Chronos. It got listed the other week and the price went up, and I hope many people sold. Right, Solana. We've been rattling around like a skeleton in a tin can at this price for, since a year. We've been here a year, okay? And we're holding it. We're holding it for grim life, okay? Now, again, my opinion doesn't change. If you watch me every day, you're going to hear the same thing. I think $100 to $110 is still the zone where I would buy Solana. And again, a lot of these areas, I don't think we're going to go to them. That's the problem. But we don't know because we've got Trump. And very likely, if something happens today or next week, we could do this and then move up. So it might go into that area. But if you're looking to buy Solana, I think $100 to $110 is a sweet spot. Because even if we only go to this price here, which is, let's call it $300. If you buy Solana at $100 and it only goes back to its all-time high, you've 3x'd. If it goes to where I think it's going to go, you're going to 5 or 6x minimum. So I think $100, $110 is great. And believe you me, if it goes below $100, I am going to be buying Solana, more Solana. But I think the key with Solana and XRP is to maybe sell it before the spot ETF goes live. Because every time we've seen a spot ETF go live, Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's suppressed the price because of Grayscale. So I think my strategy is this. We rattle around, we pump up a little bit in April. We then have our lull in July, okay? And then we just sit around here for a bit. And then in September, when we have news and we do this, I think this is where we sell. Because I think with Solana, Solana could do that. And I think its price action could be suppressed by Grayscale. Bitcoin came down after its ETF went live. Now, you can argue, yes, you can argue buy the rumor, sell the news. Yes, yes, yes. You can argue that with Ethereum. Yes, yes, yes. But look at the volume that Grayscale sold after the spot ETF went live for Bitcoin and spot ETF went live for Ethereum. Look at the volume of sell pressure. BlackRock gobbled up all of that Bitcoin. It just ate it, but it didn't gain. It didn't add to us. That's the problem. It will suppress the price. It's not going to mean that we're going to come down to $50. It means that we're not going to catch all of the gains. So maybe when we get closer to September, maybe when we get closer to the end of the bull run, we look at Solana and XRP and maybe ADA if that's got an ETF as well. And we say, is this going to go any further with a Grayscale dump? Because if we're going live 20th of September and my bull run target is 24th of November, which is exactly 4 years later, and I could be wrong, it could be October, doesn't matter. Are we going to have enough time for it to pump? I don't know. That's the issue. Now, linking on to pump. Kip was hidden by... Well, thank you, KB. I forgot to tell KB that you are now a moderator. I made you a moderator, I think, on Friday last week. Or maybe Monday. I made you a moderator. I don't know. Anyway, congratulations. Radium to rival Pump.Fun with new meme coin platform. This is like turning up to a party at 2 o'clock when all the sandwiches have been eaten, all the drinks have been drunk, and people are asleep on the sofa. And Radium walks in the door with a bottle of Newcastle Brown Ale and says, surprise, and everybody's asleep, and even the music's gone off. Okay? Pump.Fun has created millions and millions and millions of dollars for that team. But Trump, Melania, CAD, and Libra have pretty much killed it. Okay? It's still working, but the coins that it's producing are not generating any money because they've been burnt. Radium has launched its own version. Why? Why on earth would you do that? So Radium is branching out to launch its own meme coin platform called Launch Lab, designed to rival Pump.Fun. Pump.Fun is on its way out. So why are you building something to to deal with that? It's like building an NFT platform in 2023. It's just the wrong time. The two platforms have been closely intertwined, with Radium generating a significant portion, 35% of its revenue, from Pump.Fun. Despite Pump.Fun's rise in popularity since its launch in 2024, Radium has maintained that it would be unwise to replace their service, citing miscalculations, blah, blah, blah. So, this is a terrible idea, okay? We want to get shysters, shyster, it's not a swear word, want to get shysters out of the industry, and launching these types of projects that allow you to launch your own token to basically pump it up to your followers and then dump on them, it's not benefiting anybody. So what are they doing and why are they doing it? Utter waste of time, okay? I'm not saying it's going to harm the price of Ray. It's not. Ray does the majority of the volume on Solana. It's not going to damage them. I think this is a greedy, miscalculated move by, again, I talk about this a lot. You've given a lot of 20-somethings a lot of power and a lot of money. And they're going to make mistakes. And I've said this before, and I've said this about Jupiter. Meow is going to make mistakes, and those mistakes are going to harm Jupiter. Vitalik has made mistakes, and they are harming Ethereum. These projects are too big to allow those types of people to make mistakes, because they are the face, they are the front and center of those projects. And it's sad to say, but you do need to get in some dissenting voice, somebody to sit there and say, this isn't a good idea. Anybody with a brain would know that replicating Pump.Fun in March 2025 is a stupid idea. And they've gone and done it. And it's going to flop. And it's going to be bad PR for Raydium. And then Raydium are going to issue an apology saying mistakes have been made. We thought there was hunger in the community for this. There certainly isn't. We'll go and carry on doing what we're really good at, which is running a DEX. That's what they should have done, but they haven't. Toncoin continues to climb. How far will it go? So Pavel got arrested in France. Was it last year? This year? Beginning of this year? He got arrested. That dented the price of Ton quite a lot. He was then released. He then went back to, I think, Dubai. I think he lives in. The price has gone back up a little bit. I think it's the Vitalik problem. I think we should call it the Vitalik problem from now on this channel. XRP is centralized. It's a private entity, and Brad Garlinghouse is the CEO. It's not a cryptocurrency. It uses the blockchain technology. Ton is meant to be a decentralized network. And when a founder gets arrested, look at the impact of what would happen if you arrested Charles Hoskinson. Would it have a massive impact on Cardano? I think a little bit, yes. If you arrested Anatoly from Solana, it'd have a massive impact. If you arrested Vitalik, massive impact. Who do you arrest with regards to Bitcoin? Michael Saylor, maybe? Ben Cowan? Who do you arrest for Bitcoin? You don't, because it doesn't have that type of persona in charge. Now, what Pavel should be working on is getting himself out of the system so he becomes independent of Ton and Ton becomes independent of him. That then we can start talking about having a team that leads the direction of Ton, but a completely decentralized chain that's run by the network. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen today or tomorrow, but that's where we need to get to. And then there's always going to be an argument of, if there's nobody in charge, how does development work? Well, there is consensus modeling. You then need to look at, what's best for the project, a voting system, all that kind of stuff. But you don't want your chain tied to one person. What happens if he passes away? What happens then? The same with Crongy at Sonic. It's going great guns. What happens if something happens to him? The project will go to zero or close as. So Toncoin is going to go up again. It did absolutely spike, and at the time it was spiking, I didn't believe it could continue. And in hindsight, we've been proven right that it hasn't held up. But the retracement isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's pretty healthy. If a coin goes up to $10 and goes down to 10 cents, that's not bad. If a coin hits a euphoric period, like Mantra has done, Mantra went from 60 cents to $8, and then it's retraced back to $5.50, and it's holding itself at that price. That's a good sign. Ton going up to $5 or $6 and coming back down. Did it go to $5, $6? Did it even go higher? $7, and now it's at $2.80. That's a pretty good retracement. Okay, yes, it's gone down with the market, but it's found its support, and now it's primed for the bull run. So $2.70, $3, it's not a bad price as far as I can see for Ton. And I mean, I've never massively looked into it, but the numbers behind Telegram are just so vast that I think the change to force all of the tokens to run on Ton is a good idea. I think there's enough people over there. I think they need to move away from click to earn, because I think that's trash. All those coins are going to go to zero. But yeah, I'm still fairly bullish on the project because it's got users. It could be the single biggest, most widely used blockchain in 2 years' time, ahead of Solana and ahead of everybody else, because it already has 600, 700, 800, 900 million people using it. And that's more than anybody else in this sphere. So I'm not going to bet against Ton. There is voting on Dupe, yes. I voted last night. They've done 3 so far. In fact, I think I posted it into Telegram. There is a vote on Dupe, and it's to do with an allocation, which I've agreed to because it's peanuts. There we go. Right then, top 3 altcoins to buy after the bullish FOMC conclusion today. It wasn't a bullish FOMC. There was nothing bullish about it. The QT cut was good. But again, we'll go through the 3 coins. I think, which 3 altcoins can you pick up after the bull run? After the FOMC. Fair enough. Ripple, absolutely. I would certainly go with that one. I think $7 in the bull run for me is fantastic for Ripple. And if it goes higher and it goes to $10 and I'm wrong, I won't care. Okay, and you shouldn't care. But if we start getting towards $7 or $8 towards the end of this bull run, you should be taking profits. And I watch so many people, and I'd say less than half of them use the term take profits. They use it when they have taken a profit, but they haven't told you to take a profit, because 2020 hindsight makes them look fantastic. I could say to you, I bought a massive bag of Mantra and I'm going to hold it. And then 3 weeks after it got to $8 and it's back at $6, I say to you, oh yeah, I took my profits out of Mantra at $8. It's amazing how many of these crypto influencers time the top to perfection on every coin. They never lose. It's like it's like watching them going into a casino and they just constantly win. It's constantly red, it's constantly black, it's constantly 3 bars on the machine. They are incredible to watch. BS. So certainly I would look at this. Now EOS, this is a funny one. They are going to rebrand, we mentioned it yesterday, to Volta. And they're going to become a Web3 banking service. Now, America is going to dole out these Web3 banking licenses like confetti. Why? Because Trump wants the tax dollars and the jobs in America. So of course he's going to do it, and I don't blame him. I'd do the same thing if I was in charge of the UK. Tomorrow I would change the UK to be web3.uk. That would be the name I would change. Okay, so you can't call us United Kingdom. It would be web3.united.kingdom. That would be my name change tomorrow. And I would be open for business, and I would give all of these companies licenses to operate in the UK, because this is the next phase of banking. You are going to get traditional banking moving into Web3, but you're also going to get these new banks. Do I think genuinely, I think this is the only thing EOS could do, because it's such a tarnished name. Okay, it's nearly as bad as OneCoin. That's how bad the name is. It's like, oh, do you remember when everyone was throwing money at crypto? Oh, yeah. Do you remember EOS? Oh, yeah, they got a ridiculous amount of money, didn't they? And they've done nothing with it. If they do become Volta and they do get a license and they do have money in the bank to actually get themselves going, then that might not be a bad move. But EOS has to change its name. And I think this is a good move. And I'm not going to knock it, because I said Phantom was dead. And then Crongy came along, changed it to Sonic, changed the direction. He's breathed new life into Phantom with Sonic, and it's going great guns for now. Volta is probably going to go great guns, so totally agree. Totally disagree with Tron. Just because Tron is on Solana doesn't mean it's going to do very well. I think the stable coin is what's going to make Justin Sun even more money. That stable coin, when that comes out, that's going to be the big one. Is there going to be any connection between the price of Tron and the stable coin? That's the question you've got to ask yourself. But out of these 3 in order, I'd be buying XRP first, I'd be buying Volta second, and I'd be buying Tron last, in that order. But certainly the bullish narrative is with XRP, and you can't fight the bullish narrative. You just can't. Much as you don't like them because they're centralized, much as the fact that they've managed to wangle a commodity title, even though it's not, that you can't back against them, unfortunately. It's only shuffle of market on Dupe. I still hold some Dupe. I hold Dupe as well. I've got it staked. I've got, in the last airdrop, I think I staked most of that. I've got some in my wallet. But Dupe is still, for me, by far the #1 coin on Solana. For me, when you think about the revenue they make, and they're going to take, 50% of their profits to burn Dupe with on a daily basis. I mean, it's going to take some time, but that's really going to appreciate the value of Dupe. And again, my target for Dupe's always been $5. A lot of people say $2, a lot of people say $1.50. We've already got to near that price. I think $5 by the end of the bull run, and I'm out of dupe for now. I'll buy back in, but I'll be out of dupe. Right then, this is the scary, scary title which has been put out there. Fully autonomous AI could control criminal networks. Could. We could get hit by a meteor. Manchester United could win the Premier League if every team above them had 30 points deducted. Elon Musk could go to Mars without a spacesuit. Okay? Coulda, woulda, shoulda. These are the problems when you see these titles, especially when it comes out of the mouth of entities where it's in their vested interest to try and scare you into following what they want to try and do. We've seen it with CBDCs. Why do we need to bring in CBDCs? We need to bring in CBDCs because bad actors use money to do bad things. So we're going to make it electronic, and then we're going to monitor everybody. Okay? AI could just go off and start committing crime on its own. Okay? But it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it will be isolated cases. The same way we have the Lazarus Group from North Korea. They are the biggest and probably only large-scale bad actor in crypto. There are others, of course, there are others, but they're the largest ones. If this happens, which it is likely to happen, with regards to maybe one or two enterprises, then of course, by all means, go after those enterprises. But what you're doing is, it's like the egg thing I told you about the other week. If you've got 12 eggs and 11 of them are off, you're going to throw them all out, even though one of them's good. This is a case of having one bad egg in a carton of 24 normal eggs and throwing every egg out. It's just using a sledgehammer to enforce something that isn't necessarily needed. And of course, look at the motivation behind these reports. You know, Bitcoin is going to destabilize the money market. Bitcoin is going to break how money works. Bitcoin is going to make you all unemployed. How? Bitcoin is not set up to do that. The reason you don't like it, and the reason these people don't like it, is very simple. It is all to do with control. They want to control whatever element they are looking at. Okay, I'm not going to put my tinfoil hat on today. That's not what the show's about. Okay. There is the potential for this to happen, but there is more potential for it to not happen. That's the way to look at it. The same way yesterday I was talking about quantum computing breaking the Bitcoin network. If you had a quantum computer, would you try and break Bitcoin, or would you try and break your competitor's infrastructure with it? You'd go after it, wouldn't you? Of course you would. Okay, you'd use it for a cyber attack. You wouldn't go after Bitcoin. You could go after Bitcoin. Okay, you could go after hacking into people's accounts. It's all coulda, woulda, shoulda. Okay, but it's what places the seed of fear into people's minds, and you need to look at things from the outside in. There are inherent risks with AI. Of course there are, but there's inherent risks with everything. Walking across the road is an inherent risk. You could get hit by a car. If every time you went to walk to the shops and your partner or your family member said, "Oh, be careful, you could get hit by a bus," did they tell you that every time you walk out of the house? No, they don't. But the chance is still there. An aeroplane could fall out of the sky. Be careful. I know I'm harboring this point a lot, but the issue is that when you understand why things like this are being said, you understand why the motivation is to do it, and it's about control. Control of the money supply is the next step, okay? We saw it 4 years ago with, people were being hounded for not doing X, Y, or Z. What time is it, by the way? Oh, perfect. I can go onto main screen now. Let's get rid of that one. Let's go over here. Yep, there we go. Am I still framing? That's a bit better now, I think. I don't know why that happened today. Basically, got to the end of the show. I'm probably going to stream again tomorrow. And if I don't, then the Oracle will be streaming again tomorrow. The Oracle streams at 5 p.m. He changed the time to try and catch not a different audience, more of an audience. We will see how well that goes tomorrow. We might change it back to 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock. It's entirely up to him. It's his show. I believe he is going to talk to KB about getting KB back on the show. And we have 2 other AMAs lined up with 2 different types of companies. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, I don't know if you watched the KB interview back, I don't know if you watched the interview that Brogan did way back when with the game that you all played. It went really well. It was a great game. He's very good at interviewing people. In my opinion, he's very good at interviewing people. So we're going to try and get some more AMAs done with him and other people. And I believe there is some news to come out from KB and the Oracle as well, which I'm not going to say. So make sure to tune in for him tomorrow at 5. I will probably be back at 11 tomorrow. We didn't do a Wednesday night stream, so I've got no excuse to not do Friday. So we'll be back. And the other thing is, I've not sent Tariq his winnings in Mew, okay? I haven't forgotten. I just haven't managed to send it yet, and I will. I'm going to do it today, and that's a promise I'm making on stream. So thank you, everybody in chat. Thank you to KB. Thank you to Kishan. Thank you to Kabir and everybody else that's in here. Have a great evening. Let's see what Trump has got to say in 3 or 4 hours. Maybe we have this stream tomorrow, and we're at 90,000. You never know. Anyway, take care. See you all in the morning. Ciao.